Welcome to Necessary Roughness at FantasyAlarm.com, which, by the way, you can go to FantasyAlarm.com right now for your free rankings for Week 15. We're talking some players that, I hate to use the term, but bust, overvalued players heading into Week 15, one of each of the four major positions. These are guys to potentially avoid in Week 15. And we're going to start with the number of 7, as the number of interceptions thrown in the last 4 games by Matt Ryan. Oof. Now, Matt Ryan doesn't have weapons to throw the ball to. There's Julio Jones and then a cast of wily characters other than what they've got in the backfield. But still, Matt Ryan is not producing. There's all kinds of whispers and questions about, is he now the quarterback this team can have faith in with all the struggles this year? 7 interceptions in 4 games. 2 of the last 3 games he hasn't thrown for 235 yards, folks. Really, really bad work. And then there's this. In his last 10 games played, he's had 258 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. 258 and 2. Twice in 10 games. Now, the normal Matt Ryan, that happens like every other week, if not pretty much every week. 258 and 2 is not a big set of numbers for Matt Ryan. He's been there 2 times in 10 games. Faces the Jaguars this week. The next number is 88. What does that stand for? That stands for the rushing yards the last 3 games of DeMarco Murray. Now, we know DeMarco Murray's role is completely up in the air, and here is the data to support that. 88 rushing yards in 3 games. 19 carries in 2 games. 0 rushing touchdowns in 5 games. Don't know how you can trust him at this point. Ryan Matthews has been way more productive on a per-touch basis. We've seen Darren Sproles' role really grow the last couple of weeks. Murray did get some more work at the end of the action in Week 14, but in Week 15, if you're starting that guy, boy, you better have a bad situation going in the backfield. The next number of the day is 1, as in the number of touchdowns scored by Dez Bryant in his last 5 games. 1. Now, Matt Castle stinks. Okay, there it is. But Dez Bryant's not healthy. He's just not. You can watch the film, and it's just not there. The burst, the ability to go up and high point of football, it's just not there for Bryant. Not only does he only have 1 touchdown in his last 5 games, in 4 of 5 games, he hasn't got to 50 yards. Dez Bryant, one of the 2 or 3 most talented wideouts in football, completely inept at this point. The Jets have allowed 16 touchdowns in 13 games to the wide receiver position. Maybe you lean on that. But Dez Bryant's really a wide receiver 3 at this point with a very, very low ceiling, something we're not used to saying. And then finally, the number of 3, as the number of touchdowns allowed this season by the Bears defense against the tight end. The Bears defense is also allowing the 13th fewest points to the tight end, so a pretty good unit against that position. What does that mean for Kyle Rudolph? Well, in 3 of 4 games, Kyle Rudolph has caught 6 passes, which is really nice to see. Not big yardage totals the majority of the time. And then there's also this, because Teddy Bridgewater is inept, 1 touchdown in 7 games for Kyle Rudolph. I can't say you don't want to play Rudolph this week. He's still, again, 6 catches in 3 or 4 games. But with the Bears defense being pretty good against the tight end and with Rudolph's inability to get in the end zone because of his quarterback, he's a very dicey play in Week 15. Ray Flowers, FantasyAlarm.com, FantasyAlarm.com. Rankings Week 15, free. Get there, get them. Win in Week 15 so you can play in Week 16. FantasyAlarm.com.